The universe, this vast intelligent power that surrounds us, that lives in us, that is us, does not respond to your wants. And yet, this is the most liberating truth you will ever encounter, for it unveils the actual law by which your world is shaped, the fallacy of wanting. But Neville, you might say, I have been taught that I must want things intensely to attract them. This, my dear friends, is the first illusion we must dispel. Wanting by its very nature is an admission of lack. When you say I want, you are declaring to the universe, I do not have. And the universe, being the perfect mirror of consciousness, reflects back precisely this state of not having. Consider for a moment what the word want truly implies. To want is to be without. It is to stand in a state of absence, looking outward at something you do not possess. And as you stand firmly in this consciousness of absence, the law being no respecter of persons, but only of states, must continue to deliver experiences that match this consciousness of lack. I knew a man in New York who for years proclaimed his desire for financial abundance. Daily he affirmed, I want wealth. I want to be free of debt. Yet year after year, his financial situation deteriorated. One day, in desperation, he came to me, and I shared with him what I now share with you. The universe was not failing him. It was responding with perfect precision to his consciousness of wanting, of absence, of lack. The state to which the universe responds. If the universe does not respond to want, to what does it respond? It responds unfailingly to your state of being, to what you are claiming yourself to be in the depths of your consciousness. The universe does not care what you want. It only cares what you are. Every moment of your existence, you occupy a state. These states are countless. But at this very moment, you are in a state. It may be a state of health or illness, wealth or poverty, love or loneliness. And the universe, with mathematical precision, delivers experiences that correspond to this state. I am, these two words are the most powerful in all of existence. Whatever follows, I am shapes your reality. When you declare I am sick, the universe does not analyze whether you desire this sickness. It simply reflects back experiences that match this declaration. When you declare I am wealthy, even if your bank account appears empty, you are shifting into a state to which the universe must respond. What many fail to realize is that you need not wait for external evidence to claim a new state of being. In fact, the evidence will only follow your prior assumption. As I have told you time and again, imagination creates reality. But it is not what you imagine as something distant or separate from yourself. It is what you imagine yourself to be. The feeling I ask the secret. My beloved audience, here we approach the heart of the matter. The universe responds not to your thoughts, not to your words, not even to your occasional declarations. It responds to your consistent feeling, your emotional state, the mood that permeates your being. Feelings are the language of the soul. They are the true communication between you and the divine power that shapes your world. When you feel wealthy, you are wealthy in consciousness, and the universe must respond to this state. When you feel loved, you are loved in consciousness, and your world reshapes itself to reflect this truth. I recall a young woman who attended my lectures in Los Angeles. For years, she had been seeking a loving relationship, moving from one disappointing encounter to another. I want to be loved, she would say with tears in her eyes. And yet, day after day, she walked through the world carrying a feeling of being unloved, unwanted. I instructed her to cease her wanting and instead to assume the feeling of being deeply loved. Before you sleep tonight, I told her, feel the warmth of loving arms around you. Feel the absolute certainty that you are cherished beyond measure. She followed this instruction not once, but night after night. Within a month, her entire demeanor had changed. She no longer moved through the world as one seeking love, but as one who knew herself to be loved. And as is always the case when one assumes a new state, her external reality rearranged itself to match her inner knowing. The loving relationship she had sought appeared in her life, seemingly by chance, yet perfectly aligned with the law, living from the end. If the universe responds to your state of being, then the great secret of manifestation is to assume the state of your wish fulfilled. This is what I mean when I speak of living from the end. When you live from the end, you are not looking toward a desired future, you are experiencing it as present fact in your imagination. And imagination, when coupled with feeling, is the very substance of reality and formation. Consider this: every invention, every building, every work of art first existed in someone's imagination before it was made manifest in the physical world. The Wright brothers imagined human flight before they created the first airplane. Michelangelo saw David within the marble before his chisel touched the stone. In the same way, the life you desire already exists in potential, awaiting your assumption of its reality and consciousness. The universe does not need to create it anew. It needs only to move the existing pieces of your life to match your inner conviction. I knew a physician who dreamed of opening a clinic to serve those who could not afford medical care. For years he said, "I want to open my clinic," yet he remained in his conventional practice. When he came to understand the principle I am sharing with you tonight, he began to assume the state of already running his dream clinic. Each night before sleep, he would imagine walking through the doors of his clinic. He would feel the satisfaction of treating patients regardless of their ability to pay. He would hear their words of gratitude. He would experience the fulfillment of his life's purpose not as a future event, but as a present reality. Within 6 months, a series of seemingly unrelated events led to the fulfillment of this dream. A building became available in precisely the location he had imagined. Funding appeared from unexpected sources. Medical supplies were donated by a company that was upgrading its equipment. The universe did not respond to his years of wanting. It responded immediately when he assumed the state of already being what he desired to be. The LAYS impersonal. My friends, I must emphasize that the law of which I speak is entirely impersonal. It does not judge whether your desires are noble or ignoble, spiritual or material. It simply responds to the state you occupy. This is why you will find both saints and criminals who understand the law and use it effectively. The saint assumes the state of communion with God and experiences divine revelations. The criminal assumes the state of successful theft and finds opportunities for ill-gotten gain. The law itself is neutral. It is the consciousness of the individual that determines how the law will operate in their personal experience. I am not suggesting that you use this knowledge for questionable purposes. I am merely illustrating that the universe does not make moral judgments about your desires. It simply reflects back to you the state you have chosen to occupy. This understanding should free you from any lingering belief that you must somehow be worthy of your desires. The only worthiness required is your willingness to assume the state of the wish fulfilled. The universe does not respond to your worthiness. It responds to your consciousness. The Sabbath, resting on the assumption, having recognized that the universe responds not to your wanting, but to your state of being, the question naturally arises, how do we maintain the desired state long enough for it to become our physical reality? The answer lies in what the ancient scriptures call the Sabbath. The Sabbath is not merely a day of the week. It is a state of consciousness. It is that moment when you rest from your labors, knowing that what you have been seeking is already yours in consciousness. When God completed the work of creation, he rested knowing it was finished. In the same way, once you have assumed the state of your wish fulfilled, you must rest in that assumption, knowing that the work is complete on the level of consciousness and its physical manifestation is assured. This rest is not inactivity. You will still go about your daily tasks, but you will do so from a new state of being, carrying within you the quiet confidence that what you have assumed in consciousness must by law become your physical experience. I have often told the story of a man who desired a promotion in his company. For months he had been passed over despite his qualifications. When he learned this principle, he began to assume the feeling of already occupying the new position. He mentally heard the congratulations of his colleagues. He felt the satisfaction of the increased responsibility and compensation. Having assumed this state, he then rested in his assumption. He did not anxiously check for signs of his promotion. He did not repeatedly discuss his desire with colleagues. He simply knew with unshakable conviction that in consciousness, the promotion was already his. 2 weeks later, he was called into his superior's office and informed that due to a reorganization of the company, a new position had been created, one that perfectly matched his skills and offered even greater advancement than he had imagined. The universe had responded not to his wanting, but to his being, the creative power of revision. There are times, my dear friends, when despite our best efforts, we find ourselves entrenched in undesirable states. Perhaps we have been living with the consciousness of illness, financial struggle, or strained relationships for so long that it seems impossible to assume a new state. In such moments, we can employ the powerful technique of revision. Revision is the art of reimagining past events to align with our desired state of being. It is not mere wishful thinking or denial of reality. It is a conscious restructuring of our relationship to our past. Consider that what we call the past exists only in our memory. And memory is not fixed. It is fluid, subject to constant reinterpretation. By revising our memories, we alter the foundations upon which our current state rests. I recall a woman who had experienced a bitter argument with her sister, leading to years of estrangement. The memory of that argument poisoned her thoughts and kept her in a state of resentment and loss. When she learned the principle of revision, she began each night to reimagine that pivotal conversation. In her imagination, she replaced harsh words with expressions of understanding. She felt the warmth of reconciliation instead of the cold of rejection. Night after night, she revised this memory until the new version felt more real to her than the original experience. Within a month, she received a letter from her sister expressing a desire to heal their relationship. The universe responded not to the historical facts, but to the woman's revised state of consciousness. The power of your assumptions. My friends, let us delve deeper into what truly shapes your reality. Your assumptions, even those of which you are not consciously aware, are constantly being projected into your experience. These assumptions are not merely thoughts. They are the deeply held convictions about yourself and the world that color your perception and draw corresponding experiences to you. Many go through life never examining their core assumptions. They assume life is difficult, people are untrustworthy, success is for the lucky few, or love is fleeting. And as they cling to these assumptions, the law faithfully delivers experiences that confirm them. I knew a businessman who, despite his intelligence and work ethic, repeatedly found himself in failed ventures. When we examined his assumptions, we discovered that deep within his consciousness lay the conviction that success requires struggle, and anything easily gained is not truly valuable. With this understanding, is it any wonder that the universe presented him with one struggle after another? He was not experiencing these difficulties because the universe was indifferent to his desires. He was experiencing them because the universe was responding perfectly to his assumptions about the nature of success. Once he recognized these hidden assumptions, he began the work of deliberately assuming their opposites. Success flows to me with ease, he would affirm before sleep. My prosperity benefits everyone it touches. As he persisted in these new assumptions, his external circumstances gradually transformed to match his inner canvas, the imaginal ACT. How then do we effectively transition from our current state to the desired state? through what I call the imaginal act, a deliberate exercise of consciousness in which we temporarily set aside physical reality and immerse ourselves in the reality we wish to experience. The imaginal act is not daydreaming or idle fantasy. It is a controlled, purposeful use of imagination to create a sensory-rich experience of your wish fulfilled. During the imaginal act, you temporarily close the door on the world of the senses and open yourself to the world of infinite possibilities. For this exercise to be effective, it must include sensory detail. If you desire a new home, you must not merely see it, you must feel the doorknob in your hand, hear your footsteps on the floor, smell the freshness of the air, touch the texture of the walls. You must occupy the scene as if it were physically present. The power of the imaginal act lies not in its duration, but in its intensity. A single moment of complete immersion in the feeling of the wish fulfilled can be more effective than hours of half-hearted visualization. The key is to achieve what I call the feeling of reality. That moment when your imaginative experience feels as solid and substantial as any physical experience. I taught this principle to a young artist who had struggled for years to have his work recognized. Each night he would engage in an imaginal act in which he stood in a gallery surrounded by his paintings. He would hear specific words of appreciation from attendees. He would feel the quiet satisfaction of artistic recognition. Within 3 months, he was invited to participate in a group exhibition at a prestigious gallery, the very recognition he had been imagining. The universe responded not to his years of wanting recognition, but to his assumption of already having received it. The law of identical harvest. There exists a principle articulated in various spiritual traditions that you reap what you sow. I prefer to think of this as the law of identical harvest. Whatever you plant in consciousness through your consistent assumptions, feelings, and imaginal acts must eventually flower into corresponding external experiences. This law operates with mathematical precision. If you plant corn, you cannot harvest wheat. If you plant assumptions of lack, you cannot harvest abundance. If you plant feelings of unworthiness, you cannot harvest experiences of being valued and appreciated. Many misunderstand this principle, believing that if they think positive thoughts occasionally while maintaining a consciousness of limitation, they will somehow reap positive results. But occasional thoughts have little power against the deeply rooted assumptions that govern your basic sense of identity and possibility. It is not what you think about occasionally, but what you consistently assume yourself to be that creates your reality. Your harvest will always be identical in kind to the seeds you have planted in consciousness. I recall a teacher who came to me in despair over her classroom of unruly students. I want them to be respectful and engaged, she said. Yet each day she walked into a classroom assuming conflict and resistance. Her consciousness was filled with seeds of classroom struggle. I instructed her to plant new seeds to assume that her students were capable, interested, and naturally inclined toward order. Before each class, she would imagine the feeling of teaching engaged, respectful students. She would feel the satisfaction of meaningful educational exchange. Within weeks, the atmosphere in her classroom transformed. The universe responded not to her wanting better behavior from her students, but to her assumption of already experiencing ideal classroom interactions. Persistence until naturalness. My dear friends, the transition from one state to another is rarely instantaneous in its physical manifestation. While the shift in consciousness can occur in a moment, the reorganization of your external circumstances typically unfolds over time. The key to successful manifestation is persistence, not the strained persistence of forcing yourself to believe something against all evidence, but the natural persistence that comes from knowing the law and trusting its operation. When you first assume a new state, it may feel artificial, like wearing clothes that don't quite fit. But with consistent attention to maintaining this state in consciousness, it eventually becomes your natural self-concept. When this naturalness is achieved, the manifestation of your desire is assured. I have observed that many abandon their imaginal work too soon. They assume the state of the wish fulfilled for a few days, see no immediate physical evidence, and conclude that the principle is not working. What they fail to realize is that manifestation follows a natural gestation period. Just as a seed planted in soil requires time to sprout and grow. There was a salesman who dreamed of doubling his income. Following these principles, he assumed the state of already earning his desired amount. For weeks, he maintained this assumption without seeing any change in his commission checks. Lesser men might have abandoned the practice, but he persisted. In the 9th week, he was offered a position managing a team of salespeople, a role that more than doubled his income. The universe had been responding to his assumption all along, rearranging circumstances in ways he could not have anticipated to deliver the essence of his desire. The distinction between wishing and assuming. As we near the conclusion of our discussion, I must emphasize the crucial distinction between wishing for something and assuming it as fact in consciousness. This distinction marks the difference between those who use the law successfully and those who remain perpetually disappointed. Wishing places your desire in an imaginary future that never arrives. It maintains the separation between you and your desire. Someday the wisher says, I will have what I want. And in this declaration, they ensure that their desire remains forever distant. Assuming, by contrast, collapses time. It brings your desire into the present moment as a completed fact. I am now what I desire to be, declares the one who assumes. And in this declaration, they unite with their desire, becoming in consciousness what they seek to be in experience. The universe does not respond to your wishes, it responds to your assumptions. It does not deliver what you want, it delivers what you are. The great secret then is to assume yourself to be what you seek, and from this assumption to live and act as though it were already so. I knew a woman who wished to reconcile with her estranged son. For years she had tried to re-establish contact, sending letters and messages that went. When she learned these principles, she ceased her external efforts and focused on assuming the state of already having a loving relationship with her son. Each night before sleep, she would imagine a scene that implied their reconciliation. She would feel the joy of their restored connection. She would hear his voice expressing love and forgiveness. She persisted in this practice, transferring her energy from wishing for a future reconciliation to experiencing a present harmony. Within 2 months, she received a phone call from her son, the first in over 3 years. The conversation led to a meeting, which led to the healing of their relationship. The universe responded not to her wanting reconciliation, but to her assumption of it as an accomplished fact, living in a state of abundance. My friends, as we bring this discussion to a close, I want to address the most common desire expressed by those who attend my lectures, the desire for greater abundance, prosperity, and financial freedom. Many approach this desire from a consciousness of lack. They see money as something outside themselves that they must struggle to acquire. They believe there is a limited supply of wealth, and they must compete with others to secure their portion. And as they maintain this consciousness, the universe faithfully delivers experiences of financial struggle and limitation. The truth is that abundance is not something you obtain, it is a state you occupy. When you live in the state of abundance, you experience yourself as connected to the infinite supply of the universe. You know with unshakable conviction that all your needs are met, not from a limited external source, but from the limitless source within. From this state, you take actions not from desperation, but from inspiration. You make decisions not from fear, but from a sense of security and possibility. And as you live from this state, the universe rearranges itself to reflect your consciousness of plenty. I recall a woman who had lived for years with financial anxiety, constantly worrying about paying her bills. When she learned these principles, she began to live from the state of abundance. Each night she would fall asleep feeling the relief and gratitude of having more than enough. During the day, she would walk through the world carrying this feeling of abundance, regardless of her bank balance. Within 3 months, opportunities for increased income appeared in her life. A skill she had developed as a hobby became the foundation for a profitable business. An investment she had made years earlier suddenly increased in value. The universe responded not to her wanting abundance, but to her being abundant in consciousness. The final word, faith in the old law. We have covered much ground tonight, exploring the profound truth that the universe responds not to your wants, but to your state of being. As we conclude, I wish to leave you with a final thought on the role of faith in the application of this law. Faith in the context of manifestation is not blind belief in something for which there is no evidence. It is the conviction born of understanding that the law operates with mathematical precision. It is the certainty that when you assume a state in consciousness, the universe must deliver experiences that match that state. This faith is not something you must struggle to attain. It arises naturally from an intellectual and experiential understanding of the law. The more you observe the law in operation in your own life, the stronger your faith becomes until it transforms into knowing. Begin tonight to practice what you have learned. Choose one desire that has thus far eluded you. Rather than wanting it, assume the state of already possessing it. Create an imaginal scene that implies its fulfillment. Feel the reality of this scene. Fall asleep in this state. Maintain this assumption during your waking hours, and watch as the universe, with perfect fidelity, reshapes your external world to match your inner conviction. Remember always, the universe doesn't care what you want, it cares what you are. Assume yourself to be what you seek, and by law you must become it in experience. My dear friends, it has been my honor to share these principles with you tonight. May you use them wisely to create a life of fulfillment, joy, and service to your fellow man. For in the end, the greatest use of this law is not merely to acquire possessions, but to become the fullest expression of your dying potential. Go now in the confidence that the power that shapes worlds lives within you, responding always to your consciousness. The universe awaits your command, delivered not through wanting, not through pleading, but through the quiet assumption of already being what you desire to be. You are not merely flesh and blood, bound by the limitations of the physical world. You are, in essence, pure consciousness, an extension of the infinite mind of God. And it is this realization, this awakening to your true nature, that holds the key to unlocking a life beyond your wildest dreams. But how, you may ask, does one come to this profound understanding? How does one tap into this wellspring of infinite possibility? The answer, I assure you, is simpler than you might imagine, yet requires a fundamental shift in your perception of reality. The world you see around you, with all its seeming solidity and permanence, is nothing more than a projection of your own consciousness. It is a reflection of your inner state, your beliefs, and your assumptions about what is possible. And herein lies the great secret. To change your outer world, you must first change your inner world. This, my friends, is the essence of what I call the law of assumption. It is the divine principle that governs all of creation, and it is the key to manifesting your desires and living a life of true purpose and fulfillment. To understand this law, you must first grasp a fundamental truth. Imagination is the very substance of reality. The world you experience is not something separate from you, but a manifestation of your own imaginal acts. Every thought, every feeling, Every assumption you hold about yourself and the world around you is constantly being externalized in your physical reality. Now I can sense the skepticism rising in some of you. You may be thinking, but Neville, I have tried positive thinking before. I have visualized my desires, yet they remain unfulfilled. To this I say, mere positive thinking or casual visualization is not enough. What I am speaking of is a much deeper, more profound practice, the art of living from the end. Living from the end means assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. It means entering into the state of consciousness where your desire is already a present fact rather than a future possibility. This is not mere daydreaming or fantasy. It is a deliberate, controlled use of your imagination to impress upon your subconscious mind the reality you wish to experience. Let me illustrate this with an example. Suppose you desire financial abundance. The conventional approach would be to work harder, to struggle and strive in the hopes of one day achieving your goal. But this approach is fundamentally flawed, for it keeps you in a state of lack and wanting. It reinforces the very condition you seek to overcome. Instead, I urge you to assume the feeling of wealth and abundance now. Close your eyes and imagine with all the vividness you can muster what it would feel like to have all the money you desire. Feel the sense of security, the freedom, the joy that comes with financial abundance. Make this imaginal act so real that when you open your eyes, the world around you seems pale in comparison. But here's the crucial point. You must persist in this assumption. You must live and move and have your being in this new state of consciousness. For remember, your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your in-check state. As you maintain this new self-concept, as you live consistently in the consciousness of wealth and abundance, the outer circumstances of your life will invariably reshape themselves to match your inner conviction. This, my dear friends, is the creative power you possess. It is the power to shape your reality through the controlled use of your imagination. And it is this power that you squander when you waste your life living in accordance with the limited beliefs and assumptions imposed upon you by society. But the law of assumption extends far beyond mere material gain. It applies to every aspect of your life, your relationships, your health, your spiritual growth. Whatever you desire to be, do, or have, you must first assume the feeling of already being, doing, or having it. This is the secret to living a life of true purpose and fulfillment. Now, some of you may be wondering, but what about effort? What about action? And to this I say, inspired action will naturally flow from your assumed state of consciousness. When you truly live in the end, when you fully embody the state of your wish fulfilled, you will find yourself naturally guided to take the steps necessary to bring your desire into physical manifestation. However, this action will not feel like struggle or strain. It will not be the frantic, anxious activity of someone desperately trying to achieve a goal. Instead, it will be the calm, confident action of one who knows that their desire is already a fact, waiting to be expressed in the physical world. This, my friends, is the difference between wasting your life and living with purpose. It is the difference between being at the mercy of external circumstances and being the conscious creator of your reality. It is the difference between existing and truly living. But I must warn you, this path is not for the faint of heart. It requires courage, persistence, and above all, faith. Faith not in some external deity or power, but faith in the God within you, the I am that is your true self. For you see, the great I am is not something separate from you. It is your very essence, your true identity. When you say I am, you are invoking the name of God, for I am is the true name of the Creator. And whatever you attach to this mighty I am, you are decreeing it into existence. This is why it is so crucial to be mindful of your inner conversations, of the thoughts and assumptions you hold about yourself and the world. For every time you say, I am poor, I am sick, I am unlucky, you are using creative power to perpetuate these conditions in your life. Instead, I urge you to make a new covenant with yourself. Begin to use the power of I am consciously and deliberately. Declare, I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am loved, not as affirmations or positive statements, but as acknowledgments of your true state of being. For remember, your conception of yourself is what you really are, and your conception of yourself is all that you have to give to the world. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, this seems too easy. Surely there must be more to it than this. And to this I say the greatest truths are often the simplest. The power to change your life, to achieve your every desire, to live a life of true purpose and fulfillment, it is your divine birthright as a child of God, as an individualized expression of the infinite creative consciousness. The reason why this truth seems too good to be true is that you have been conditioned to believe in limitation, in struggle, in the necessity of hard work and sacrifice. But I assure you these beliefs are nothing more than illusions, shadows cast by the limited thinking of man. In reality, there are no limitations to what you can be, do, or have, except those you accept in your own thinking. The entire universe is within you, waiting to be expressed. All the wealth, all the love, all the wisdom, all the success you could ever desire is already yours in potential. Your task is simply to align your consciousness with this truth, to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and to live from that state until it becomes your physical reality. But let me be clear, this is not a call to irresponsibility or inaction. On the contrary, it is an invitation to take full responsibility for your life, to become the conscious creator of your reality rather than a passive victim of circumstance. It is a call to action of the highest order, the action of consciously directing your imagination and assuming the feeling of your desires fulfilled. Now, some of you may be wondering about the role of others in this process. You may be thinking, but what about my family, my friends, my colleagues? Don't they have a say in my reality? And to this I say, everyone in your world is you pushed out. They are reflections of your own consciousness, playing the parts that you have assigned to them through your beliefs and assumptions. This doesn't mean that others don't exist, or that their free will is negated. Rather, it means that your experience of others, how they treat you, how they respond to you, is a direct reflection of your own self-concept and your assumptions about them. Change your concept of yourself and others, and you will see a corresponding change in your relationships and interactions. This understanding liberates you from the need to change others or to wait for external circumstances to improve. It places the power squarely in your hands, for you realize that to change your world, you need only change yourself. But I must caution you, this power comes with great responsibility. For as you awaken to your true nature as the operant power in your world, you can no longer blame others or external circumstances for your life conditions. You must be willing to take full responsibility for your thoughts, your assumptions, and consequently, your life experiences. This, my dear friends, is what it means to truly live, to not waste the precious gift of life that has been bestowed upon you. It means to awaken from the slumber of limitation and victimhood, and to claim your rightful place as a conscious creator, as an individualized expression of the divine. But how, you may ask, does one begin this journey of awakening? How does one start to apply these principles in daily life? The answer lies in a practice I call revision. Revision is the art of consciously reimagining past events in a way that aligns with your desires. It is based on the understanding that time is merely constructive consciousness, and that the past, present, and future exist simultaneously in the eternal now. When you engage in revision, you are not denying or suppressing what seems to have happened. Rather, you are exercising your divine right as a creator to choose which version of events you wish to make real in your consciousness. For remember, it is not the outer event itself that shapes your life, but your reaction to it, your interpretation of it. Let me give you an example. Suppose you had an unpleasant interaction with a colleague at work. The conventional approach would be to replay the event in your mind, reinforcing the negative emotions and potentially carrying that energy into future interactions. But with revision, you would close your eyes and reimagine the scene as you wish it had unfolded. See your colleague responding with kindness and understanding. Feel the warmth of a positive interaction. Make this new version so vivid and real in your imagination that it supersedes the original memory. As you practice revision consistently, you will begin to see a remarkable transformation in your life. Not only will your present and future experiences begin to align with your revised versions of past, but you will also develop a deep sense of peace and empowerment, knowing that you are no longer at the mercy of past events or external circumstances. But revision is not limited to recent events. You can revise any aspect of your life story, any belief or assumption that no longer serves you. Were you told as a child that you were not smart enough, not talented enough, not worthy of love or success? Revise these limiting beliefs. Go back in your imagination and hear words of encouragement and support. Feel the confidence and self-assurance that comes from knowing your infinite worth and potential. This practice of revision is not about denying reality or living in fantasy. It is about understanding the true nature of reality as a projection of consciousness and exercising your divine right to choose which version of events you wish to make real in your world. Now, I can sense that some of you may be feeling overwhelmed by the magnitude of this teaching. You may be thinking, this all sounds wonderful, Neville, but where do I begin? How do I put this into practice in my daily life? To this I say, begin with the end in mind. Choose a desire, something you wish to be, do, or have. It could be anything: a new job, a loving relationship, improved health, financial abundance. Whatever it is, define it clearly in your mind. Now close your eyes and enter into a state of relaxation. Let go of all tension in your body and mind. As you relax, begin to imagine a scene that would imply the fulfillment of your desire. Make it as vivid and real as possible. Engage all your senses. What would you see, hear, feel, smell, taste if your desire were already fulfilled? Most importantly, feel the emotion of your wish fulfilled. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the sense of accomplishment. For it is this feeling that is the secret to your creative power. Your emotional state is the channel through which your imaginal acts are impressed upon the subconscious mind and brought into physical manifestation. As you emerge from this imaginal act, carry the feeling with you. Let it permeate your entire being. Live from the assumption that what you have imagined is already a fact. This is what it means to live in the end. Now here's the crucial part. You must persist in this assumption. You must make your imaginal act more real to you than the evidence of your physical senses. This is where most people falter. They allow the apparent reality of the outer world to overshadow their imaginal act. They give up at the first sign that things are not changing as quickly as they'd like. But I assure you, if you persist in your assumption, if you remain faithful to your imaginal act, your outer world must conform to your inner conviction. It is law. For remember, your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state of consciousness. This persistence, this unwavering faith in the reality of your imaginal act is what separates those who transform their lives from those who continue to live in frustration and limitation. It is the key to not wasting your life, to living with purpose and power. But let me be clear, this is not about forcing or willing things to happen. It is not about struggle or strain. It is about aligning yourself with the natural creative process of the universe. It is about allowing your desires to unfold naturally and effortlessly as you maintain the consciousness of their fulfillment. Now, some of you may be wondering about the role of action in this process. You may be thinking, but Neville, surely we must do something to bring our desires into manifestation. And to this I say inspired action will naturally flow from your assumed state. When you truly live in the end, when you fully embody the state of your wish fulfilled, you will find yourself naturally guided to take the steps necessary to bring your desire into physical manifestation. But this action will not feel like effort or struggle. It will be the calm, confident action of one who knows that their desire is already a fact. This is the difference between wasting your life in fruitless struggle and living with purpose and power. It is the difference between trying to make things happen through sheer force of will and allowing your good to flow to you naturally as you align yourself with the creative power of the universe. But I must warn you, as you begin to apply these principles, you may face challenges. You may encounter doubt, both from within yourself and from others. You may face seeming setbacks or delays. This is where your faith will be tested. Remember, the outer world may not immediately reflect your new inner state. There may be a time lag between your imaginal act and its physical manifestation. This period, which I call the Sabbath, is a time of rest and assurance. It is a time to remain faithful to your assumption, regardless of appearances. During this time, you may be tempted to doubt, to question whether your imaginal act was real or effective. You may be tempted to return to your old patterns of thinking and behaving. But I urge you, do not waver. Hold fast to your assumption, for it is your faith, your persistent assumption, that will ultimately reshape your reality. This, my dear friends, is a true test of your creative power. It is easy to believe when things are going well, when your outer world aligns with your desires, but it takes real faith, real understanding of your divine nature, to persist in your assumption when everything seems to contradict. But I assure you, if you persist, if you remain faithful to your imaginal act, you will see miracles unfold in your life. You will witness the power of your consciousness to reshape your reality in ways that may seem impossible from your current standpoint. Now let us address another crucial aspect of not wasting your life: the importance of living in the present moment. Many people waste their lives by constantly dwelling on the past or anxiously anticipating the future. They fail to realize that the present moment is the only point of power, the only place where life can be truly lived and experienced. When you understand the law of assumption, you realize that the past has no power over you except the power you give it through your present assumptions. The future is not something to be feared or anxiously awaited, but something you are creating now through your current state of consciousness. Living in the present moment doesn't mean ignoring the past or failing to plan for the future. Rather, it means being fully aware and conscious in the here and now, recognizing that this moment is where all your creative power lies. It means using your imagination constructively to create the future you desire, rather than letting your mind wander aimlessly or dwell on negative past experiences. This present moment awareness is crucial for effective manifestation, for it is only in the present moment that you can assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. It is only in the now that you can impress upon your subconscious mind the reality you wish to experience. Moreover, living in the present moment allows you to fully appreciate and enjoy the life you are creating. Many people waste their lives by constantly chasing after future goals, never pausing to appreciate the journey or the present moment. They fail to realize that life is not a destination to be reached, but a journey to be lived and enjoyed. By living fully in the present, you can experience the joy and fulfillment that comes from being alive while still working towards your desires. Another crucial aspect of not wasting your life is understanding the importance of your self-concept. Your self-concept, or the beliefs and assumptions you hold about yourself, is the foundation upon which your entire life experience is built. Many people waste their lives by accepting limiting beliefs about themselves, never realizing their true potential. They go through life believing they are not good enough, not smart enough, worthy of love, or worthy of us. But I tell you, these beliefs are nothing more than illusions, shadows cast by the limited thinking of man. To truly live, to make the most of the divine gift of life, you must cultivate a self-concept that aligns with your desires and your true divine nature. This means consciously choosing to see yourself as the person you wish to be, regardless of current circumstances or past experiences. It means affirming your divine nature, your infinite potential, your worthiness of all good things. As you consistently maintain this elevated self-concept, you will find your outer world reshaping itself to match your inner conviction. In conclusion, my dear friends, the key to not wasting your life lies in awakening to your true nature as a divine creative being. It lies in understanding and applying the law of assumption, in living from the end, in reviving your past, in being fully present in the now, and in cultivating a self-concept that aligns with your highest aspirations. It means taking full responsibility for your life experience, recognizing that you are the author of your own story, the creator of your own reality. As you embark on this journey of awakening and conscious creation, remember that you are never alone. The infinite creative power of the universe is always with you, for it is your very essence. Trust in this power, have faith in your divine nature, and persist in your assumptions. For as you do so, you will witness the miraculous unfolding of a life beyond your wildest dreams, a life of purpose, fulfillment, and true joy. This, my friends, is what it means to truly live, to make the most of the precious gift of life. Go forth now and create the life you desire, for all things are possible to him who believes. Let us begin by understanding what it truly means to choose. In the world of appearances, we often believe that choice is an external act, a decision made in response to the circumstances that surround us. We think we choose our careers, our partners, our homes, and our experiences based on what is available to us in the physical realm. But I tell you now with absolute certainty that this is a fallacy, a misunderstanding that has kept humanity bound to limitation and want for far too long. True choice, my dear friends, originates not from the world without, but from the world within. It is an expression of your innermost being, a reflection of your consciousness, and a manifestation of your imagination. When you truly choose something, it is because that something has already chosen you. It has already become a part of your consciousness, a living, breathing reality in the realm of your imagination. And it is from this realm, this invisible but all-powerful dimension of mind, that all things in your visible world spring forth. Consider for a moment the things in your life that you have been striving for, struggling to attain, or desperately trying to change. Perhaps it's a job that seems always out of reach, a relationship that never quite manifests, or a state of being, be it wealth, health, or happiness that appears to elude you at every turn. Now, I ask you this, are these things truly choosing you? Or are you in your limited human thinking, attempting to force them into existence through sheer will and effort? You see, my friends, when something truly chooses you, there is no struggle. There is no strain. There is only a natural, effortless unfolding of events that lead you inevitably to your desire fulfilled. It is as natural and as certain as a seed growing into a mighty oak tree. The oak does not strain to become, it simply allows the power within it to express itself fully. And so it must be with you. Your desires, your true choices are seeds planted in the fertile soil of your imagination. But for these seeds to grow and bear fruit in your physical reality, you must stop choosing what's not choosing you. You must cease the futile struggle against what is, and instead turn your attention fully and completely to what could be, to what, in truth, already is in the realm of imagination. Let me illustrate this principle with a simple example. Imagine a young man who desperately wants to be a great musician. He practices for hours each day, striving with all his might to improve his skills. He auditions for orchestras and bands, facing rejection after rejection. He tells himself and others that he has chosen music as his path. But in truth, he is choosing struggle, choosing rejection, choosing the very state of wanting to be rather than being a great musician. Now contrast this with another young man. This one, too, loves music. But instead of focusing on the lack, on the journey, on the process of becoming, he simply knows that he is a great musician. In his imagination, he sees himself performing to thunderous applause. He feels the joy of creating beautiful melodies. He experiences the satisfaction of touching people's hearts through his music. This second young man is not choosing music. Music is choosing him. It has become so much a part of his consciousness that its manifestation in the physical world is a foregone conclusion. He does not struggle. He does not strive. He simply is. And in that state of being, all that he desires naturally flows to him. This, my dear friends, is the essence of what I mean when I say stop choosing what's not choosing you. It is a call to cease the endless struggle against what is not, and to instead embrace fully what is in the reality of your imagination. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, surely we must take action in the world. Surely we must work towards our goals. And to this I say, yes, action is indeed part of the process of manifestation. But it is not action born of struggle or strain. It is inspired action, action that flows naturally from your state of being. When you truly embody the state of your wish fulfilled, when you live from the end, as I often say, the right actions will present themselves to you effortlessly. You will find yourself naturally drawn to the people, circumstances, and opportunities that align with your desire. This is the universe, or God, if you prefer, choosing you, guiding you, shaping your path in accordance with the image you hold in your imagination. Let us delve deeper into this concept, for it is crucial to your understanding and to the transformation of your life. When you choose what's not choosing you, you are essentially saying to the universe, I do not have this thing I desire. I am separate from it, and I must struggle to attain it. And the universe, being the faithful servant that it is, responds by maintaining that very state of separation and separation. But when you choose what's choosing you, or rather, when you recognize and accept what has already chosen you in the realm of imagination, you are declaring to the universe, I am one with my desire. It is already mine. I am already the person who has, does, or is this thing I wish to experience. And the universe, again being the faithful servant, begins to rearrange itself to make your inner reality an artifact. This, my friends, is the true power of imagination. It is not mere fantasy or wishful thinking. It is the very substance of reality, the creative power of the universe itself, individualizing you. When you imagine, you are not creating something new, you are selecting from the infinite possibilities that already exist in the mind of God. Consider the words of William Blake, the great poet and mystic. What is now proved was once only imagined. Everything in your world, from the chair you sit on to the most advanced technology, was once only a thought, an idea, a seed in someone's imagination. And so it is with your desires, your goals, your ideal life. They already exist in the realm of infinite possibilities. Your task is not to create them, but to select them, to tune your consciousness to their frequency, to become one with them in the depths of your being. But how, you may ask, do we accomplish this? How do we stop choosing what's not choosing us and start aligning with what is? The answer, my dear friends, lies in the power of your attention and the practice of what I call the law of assumption. Your attention is the instrument by which you tune your consciousness. Whatever you focus on, whatever you give your attention to, grows in your experience. If you constantly focus on what you lack, on the obstacles in your path, on the difficulties you face, you are choosing those very things. You are tuning your consciousness to the frequency of lack, obstacle, and difficulty. But if you direct your attention to the state of your wish fulfilled, if you dwell in the feeling of already being, doing, or having what you desire, you align yourself with that reality. You tune your consciousness to the frequency of abundance, success, and fulfillment. This is where the law of assumption comes into play. To assume means to take for granted. It means to live from the conviction that what you desire is already yours. It is not hoping, it is not wishing, it is not even believing in the conventional sense. It is knowing with every fiber of your being that you are already the person you wish to be, that you already have what you wish to possess, that you are already experiencing what you wish to experience. Let me give you a practical example of how this works. Suppose you desire financial abundance. The conventional approach would be to focus on your current lack of money, to worry about bills, to constantly think about how to make more money. This is choosing what's not choosing you. It's aligning yourself with the very state of financial struggle you wish to escape. Instead, I urge you to assume the state of financial abundance. Feel the relief, the security, the freedom that comes with having more than enough money. See yourself living in the home you desire, driving the car you love, enjoying the experiences that financial abundance allows. Feel the gratitude for this abundance as if it were already yours. Do this not once, not twice, but consistently. Make it your dwelling place. Let it be the last thing you think of as you fall asleep at night and the first thing you embrace as you wake in the morning. Live from this state and watch as the outer world begins to rearrange itself to match your inner conviction. This, my friends, is what it means to choose what's choosing you. It is to align yourself with the version of reality where your desires are already fulfilled. It is to step into the skin of the person you wish to be and to live from that state consistently. Now I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, this sounds like self-deception. Isn't this just pretending? And to this, I say all of life is pretending until it becomes real. The great William Shakespeare wrote, "All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players." You are always playing a role, always pretending to be someone. Why not consciously choose to play the role of the person you truly wish to be? Moreover, this is not deception, for in the realm of imagination, which is the true substance of reality, your desire already exists. You are simply aligning yourself with what is already true on a higher plane of existence. Remember, my dear friends, that your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world. It is a shadow cast by the light of your consciousness. Change the inner, and the outer must follow suit. This is not magic, it is not supernatural. It is the most natural thing in the world, as natural as a flower turning towards the sun. But I warn you, this practice requires persistence and patience. The world of appearances may not change overnight. Your current circumstances are the result of your past thoughts and assumptions. They have a certain momentum, a certain inertia. But as you consistently hold to your new assumption, as you faithfully choose what's choosing you, you will begin to see changes. At first, these changes may be small. Perhaps an unexpected opportunity arises, or you have a fortuitous encounter with someone who can help you on your path. These are signs that the universe is beginning to respond to your new vibration, your new state of being. Do not dismiss these signs, no matter how small they may seem. Recognize them for what they are: confirmation that your inner transformation is bearing fruit in the outer world. As you persist in your new state, as you continue to choose what's choosing you, these changes will grow more significant. You will find yourself naturally taking actions that align with your desire. Opportunities will seem to fall into your lap. People will be drawn to you, eager to assist you in ways you never imagined possible. This, my friends, is the universe conspiring in your favor. It is the natural result of aligning yourself with what truly chooses you, with what is already yours in the realm of infinite possibilities. But let me caution you, this practice requires a certain detachment from the world of appearances. You must learn to trust the invisible reality of your imagination more than the visible reality of your current circumstances. This can be challenging, especially when the evidence of your senses seems to contradict your inner knowing. In such moments, remember the words of the Apostle Paul: "We walk by faith, not by sight." Your faith must be in the reality of your imagination, in the truth of your assumption. This faith is not blind belief, but a deep knowing that transcends physical evidence. Let me share with you a personal experience that illustrates this principle. Many years ago, when I first began to understand these truths, I found myself in dire financial straits. I had barely enough money to feed myself, let alone pay my rent. The logical, rational part of my mind was consumed with worry and fear. But I decided to put these principles to the test. Instead of dwelling on my lack, I began to assume the state of financial abundance. I imagined myself living in a beautiful apartment, eating at fine restaurants, buying new clothes. I felt the relief of having more than enough money. I experienced the joy of being able to help others financially. I held to this state consistently, even as my outer circumstances seemed to contradict it at every turn. And then, my friends, the most remarkable thing happened. Within a matter of weeks, I received an unexpected sum of money that not only covered my immediate needs, but allowed me to live comfortably for months. This experience taught me a profound lesson: the outer world must conform to the inner conviction. When you truly choose what's choosing you, when you align yourself fully with the state of your wish fulfilled, the universe has no choice but to reflect that state back to you. Now, I want to address a common misconception that often arises when people first encounter these ideas. Some may think that this teaching encourages passivity, that it suggests we should simply sit back and wait for our desires to manifest. Nothing could be further from the truth. When you truly choose what's choosing you, when you fully embody the state of your wish fulfilled, you will be moved to inspired action. This action will not feel like work or struggle. It will feel natural, joyful, almost effortless. You will find yourself doing things that align with your desire, not out of desperation or fear, but out of a sense of enthusiasm and inevitability. Consider the example of a great actor preparing for a role. They don't simply memorize their lines and wait for the cameras to roll. They immerse themselves in the character, thinking, feeling, and even moving as the character would. When it comes time to perform, their actions flow naturally from this assumed state of being. So it must be with you. As you assume the state of your wish fulfilled, as you choose what's choosing you, you will naturally be moved to take actions that align with that state. But these actions will not feel like a struggle against reality. They will feel like a joyful participation in the unfolding of your desire. Let us now turn our attention to another crucial aspect of this teaching, the importance of feeling. It is not enough to merely think about your desire or to visualize it in a detached manner. You must feel it. You must experience the emotion that would be yours if your desire were already fulfilled. Feeling, my dear friends, is the secret. It is the bridge between your current state and the state you wish to embody. When you can generate and sustain the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you create a vibrational match with that desired state. And it is this vibrational match that draws your desire into your physical experience. Think for a moment about something you deeply desire. Now, instead of focusing on the absence of this thing in your life, imagine that you already have it. How does it feel? Do you feel joy, relief, excitement, gratitude? Whatever the feeling is, allow yourself to fully experience it. Let it permeate every cell of your body. This feeling is your point of power. It is the language that the universe understands. When you consistently generate this feeling, you are sending out a powerful signal to the universe saying, this is who I am. This is what I experience. And the universe, being the faithful mirror that it is, must reflect that signal back to you in the form of corresponding experiences. But remember, this is not about forcing yourself to feel positive emotions when you're truly feeling down. That would be just another form of resistance, another way of choosing what's not choosing you. Instead, it's about cultivating a genuine sense of having already received your desire. It's about aligning your emotional state with the reality you wish to experience. This may take practice. You may need to return to this feeling state again and again, especially when your outer circumstances seem to contradict it. But with persistence, you will find that it becomes easier and more natural to dwell in this state of fulfilled desire. Now let us address another important point. Some of you may be wondering, but what if I'm not sure what I truly desire? How can I choose what's choosing me if I don't know what that is? This is a profound question, and it brings us to a deeper understanding of the nature of desire itself. You see, your true desires, the ones that are truly choosing you, do not originate in your human mind. They are not the product of social conditioning or external expectations. They come from a much deeper place, from what I call your divine self or your God self. This divine self knows your true purpose, your highest path. It is constantly communicating with you, sending you impulses in the form of desires. But often these pure desires get clouded by the noise of the world, by our fears, doubts, and limiting beliefs. So how do you discern your true desires, the ones that are truly choosing you? The key lies in paying attention to your feelings. When you think about a particular desire, does it fill you with excitement and enthusiasm? Does it feel expansive, as if it's opening up new possibilities for you? Or does it feel constricting, as if you're trying to force yourself into a mold that doesn't fit? Your true desires, the ones that are choosing you, will always feel expansive. They will energize you, inspire you, make you feel more alive. Even if they seem challenging or even impossible from your current standpoint, they will still feel right on a deep level. On the other hand, desires that are not truly choosing you often feel heavy. They may be accompanied by a sense of should or must. They may be driven by a need to prove something to others or to live up to some external standard. I urge you, my dear friends, to pay close attention to these inner signals. They are your divine self communicating with you, guiding you towards your highest good. When you align yourself with these true desires, when you choose what's truly choosing you, You tap into a power far greater than your individual self. You become a channel for the creative power of the universe itself. Let me share with you another personal experience that illustrates this point. Many years ago, I felt a strong desire to share these teachings with the world. At first, my human mind resisted. It told me that I wasn't qualified, that no one would listen to me, that I should stick to a conventional career path. But the desire persisted. Every time I thought about sharing these ideas, I felt a sense of excitement and expansiveness. It energized me in a way that nothing else did. And so, despite my doubts and fears, I chose to align myself with this desire. I chose what was choosing me. The path wasn't always easy. There were challenges and setbacks along the way. But because I was aligned with my true desire, with what was truly choosing me, I found the strength and inspiration to persevere. And as I continued to choose this path, to live from the state of being a teacher and sharer of these truths, the outer world began to conform to this inner conviction. Opportunities to speak and teach began to arise. People were drawn to my lectures, resonating with the ideas I shared. Books flowed from my pen with an ease I had never experienced before. All of this happened not because I struggled and strained, but because I had aligned myself with what was truly choosing me. This, my dear friends, is the power that is available to each and every one of you. When you stop choosing what's not choosing you and start aligning with your true desires, with what's truly choosing you, you tap into a flow of infinite possibility. You become a co-creator with the universe itself. Now I want to address a concern that often arises when people begin to apply these principles. Some worry that by focusing on their own desires, by choosing what's choosing them, they might be acting selfishly or neglecting their responsibilities to others. But I assure you, nothing could be further from the truth. When you align yourself with your true desires, with what's truly choosing you, you are not acting from a place of selfishness. You are allowing the divine self within you to express itself fully in the world. And this divine self, being one with the source of all creation, naturally acts for the highest good of all. Think about it this way: when you are living in alignment with your true self, when you are fully expressing your unique gifts and talents, you are in the best possible position to serve others. You are operating from a place of fullness rather than lack, from joy rather than obligation. Moreover, as you begin to manifest your desires, as your life becomes a living expression of what's truly choosing you, you become an inspiration to others. You show them what's possible when one aligns with their true nature. In this way, your personal fulfillment becomes a gift to the world. Let me give you an example to illustrate this point. Imagine a talented musician who has been working in a job she doesn't enjoy because she believes it's the responsible thing to do. She's providing for her family, but she's unfulfilled and her unique gifts are going unexpressed. Now imagine that this musician decides to align herself with her true desire, with what's truly choosing her. She begins to assume the state of being a successful, fulfilled musician. She feels the joy of creating and performing music. She imagines the impact her music has on others. As she persists in this state, opportunities begin to arise. Her music career takes off. And here's the beautiful part: not only is she now more fulfilled than I, but she's also in a position to provide even better for her family. Moreover, her music is touching the lives of thousands of people, inspiring them, comforting them, bringing beauty into their lives. This is what happens when you choose what's choosing you. You not only fulfill yourself, but you also position yourself to make your greatest contribution to the world. Now, my dear friends, as we near the end of our discussion, I want to emphasize a crucial point. The practice of choosing what's choosing you, of living from the state of your wish fulfilled, is not a one-time event. It's not something you do once and then sit back and wait for results. It's a way of life, a constant practice of aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the reality you wish to experience. This requires vigilance. It requires a willingness to constantly monitor your thoughts and feelings, to catch yourself when you slip into old patterns of thinking and choosing what's not choosing you. But I assure you, the effort is worth it. For as you make this practice a habit, as it becomes your natural way of being, you will find that your life transforms in ways you may have never thought possible. You will begin to see the world differently. Where once you saw obstacles, you will now see opportunities. Where once you felt lack, you will now feel abundance. Where once you experienced struggle, you will now experience flow. This is not to say that challenges will never arise. They will. But when you're aligned with what's truly choosing you, when you're living from the state of your wish fulfilled, You will face these challenges from a place of power and possibility rather than fear and limitation. Remember, my dear friends, you are not separate from the creative power of the universe. You are that power individualized. When you truly understand and embody this truth, when you consistently choose what's choosing you, you step into your true power as a divine being having a human experience. So I urge you, starting from this very moment, to be vigilant in your thoughts and feelings. Catch yourself when you find yourself focusing on what you don't want, on what's not working, on what's not choosing you. Gently but firmly redirect your attention to what you do want, to the state you wish to embody, to what's truly choosing you. Feel the reality of your desire fulfilled. Live from that state. Let it inform your thoughts, your words, your actions. Do this consistently, persistently, and watch as your world begins to transform. And remember, this practice is not about forcing change through willpower or struggle. It's about allowing your true self to express itself fully in the world. It's about aligning yourself with the flow of life rather than struggling against it. As you leave here today, I want you to carry with you this fundamental truth. You are the operant power in your life. Your consciousness, your imagination, is the creative force through which you shape your reality. By choosing what's truly choosing you, by living from the state of your wish fulfilled, you activate this creative power in the most potent way possible. So go forth, my dear friends, and choose wisely. Choose what's choosing you. Live from the end. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and watch as the miracle of life unfolds before you in ways more wonderful than you could have ever imagined. Remember, the kingdom of heaven is within you. It is not a place you go to, but a state you choose to embody. By choosing what's choosing you, you are claiming your rightful place in this kingdom. You are stepping into your power as a divine creator. And so, my beloved friends, I leave you with this final thought. The world is waiting for you to be you, fully and completely. It is waiting for you to choose what's choosing you, to align with your true desires, to express your divine nature. When you do this, you not only transform your own life, but you contribute to the transformation of the entire world. For each time one of us aligns with our true self, with what's truly choosing us, we raise the vibration of the entire planet. We make it easier for others to do the same. In this way, by choosing what's choosing you, you become a beacon of light in the world, illuminating the path for others to follow. So go now and choose wisely. Choose what's choosing you. Live from the end. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and watch as miracles unfold in your life and in the world around you. Thank you, and may you be blessed on your journey of self-discovery and manifestation. Imagine for a moment that you are standing at the threshold of a new life, a life so vibrant, so filled with purpose and joy that it seems almost unreal. Yet here you are, poised to step into this magnificent reality. This very moment, as you listen to these words, is the pivot point upon which your entire existence is about to turn. You may ask, how can this be? How can a simple video, a collection of words and images, herald such a profound transformation in my life? The answer, my dear listeners, lies not in the video itself, but in the power that resides within you, a power so vast, so limitless, that it can reshape the very fabric of your reality. Consider this. Every great change, every monumental shift in the course of human history began with a single thought. A thought that took root in the fertile soil of imagination, nurtured by the unwavering belief of its thinker. This video, this message, is that seed of thought for you. It has found you at precisely the right moment, when you are ready to embrace the extraordinary potential that has always existed within you. Let us delve deeper into this concept. The world you see around you, the circumstances of your life, the very essence of your being, all of these are but reflections of your inner state. They are the manifestations of your deepest beliefs and assumptions about yourself in the world. And just as a mirror faithfully reflects whatever stands before it, your outer world reflects the state of your inner world. Now imagine for a moment that you could change that inner world, that you could, through the power of your imagination and the strength of your belief, reshape your inner landscape. What would happen then? Inevitably, inexorably, your outer world would begin to shift, to realign itself with this new inner reality. This, my friends, is the great secret that has been hidden in plain sight throughout the ages. The sages and mystics of every culture have spoken of it, often in veiled terms. But today, we shall speak plainly, for the time for obscurity has passed. You are creators, each and every one of you. Creators not just of art or music or literature, but of your very lives, of the world you inhabit. But how, you may ask, can we harness this creative power? How can we shape our inner world with such precision and potency that our outer world has no choice but to conform? The answer lies in a practice so simple, yet so profound, that its true power is often overlooked. Imagination, my dear listeners, is the workshop in which you forge your future. It is the canvas upon which you paint the masterpiece of your life. When you close your eyes and vividly imagine a scene, feeling it to be real, experiencing it with all your senses, you are not merely daydreaming. You are engaging in the most powerful creative act possible. For in that moment of imagining, you are stepping into a state of being. You are, in essence, becoming the person who has already achieved, already experienced, already become what you desire. And here's the crux of the matter. The outer world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match this new state of being. Think of it this way. If you were to wake up tomorrow morning as a person of great wealth, how would you feel? How would you carry yourself? What thoughts would occupy your mind? Now, can you see that by assuming that state, by living from that place of abundance and security, you are setting in motion the very forces that will bring that reality into your physical experience? This is not mere positive thinking or wishful daydreaming. This is a fundamental law of consciousness, as real and immutable as the law of gravity. Just as an apple must fall when released from your hand, so must your outer world conform to your inner state of being. But let us be clear. This power comes with great responsibility. For if you can create the life of your dreams through the power of your imagination, then you must also acknowledge that the life you currently lead is of your own making. Every circumstance, every relationship, every success or failure is a reflection of your past assumptions and beliefs. This realization can be sobering, even frightening. But it is also incredibly liberating. For if you have created your current reality, then you have the power to create a new one. The past does not determine your future, your imagination does. Now, some of you may be thinking, but I've tried positive thinking before. I visualized and affirmed, and nothing changed. To you, I say this, the power lies not in the technique, but in the feeling. It is not enough to merely picture what you want. You must feel it to be real here and now. You must live from the state of its fulfillment. Imagine a man who desires financial abundance. He may visualize himself with great wealth. But if he continues to feel poor, to live in a state of lack and limitation, his outer world will continue to reflect that inner poverty. But if he can assume the feeling of wealth, if he can live from that state of abundance, not in some imagined future, but right here and now, then the outer world must by law begin to reflect that inner richness. This is the art of living from the end. It is the practice of experiencing your desire as an accomplished fact, of making your future dream your present fact. When you master this art, you hold in your hands the key to unlocking every door, to achieving every goal, to becoming every version of yourself you ever dreamed of being. But let us not mistake this for some sort of magical thinking. The outer world does not change overnight. The seed planted in the soil does not become a mighty oak in a day. There is a season for all things, a natural gestation period for every desire. Your task is not to make things happen, but to maintain that inner state of fulfillment, to nurture that seed with your unwavering belief and your consistent assumption of its reality. The how and of its manifestation are not your concern. Your only responsibility is to lift your end to be in imagination what you wish to be in reality. Now, some of you may be wondering about the role of action in all of this. After all, surely we cannot simply sit back and wait for our desires to manifest. You are right to ask this question, for action does indeed play a crucial role. But it is not the frantic, desperate action of someone trying to make things happen. Rather, it is the inspired action that naturally flows from your new state of being. When you truly live from the state of your fulfilled desire, you will find yourself naturally drawn to take actions that align with that state. Opportunities will present themselves, ideas will come to you, and you will act upon them not out of a sense of lack or need, but from a place of calm assurance and inner knowing. This is the difference between creating and making. Where you try to make things happen, you are operating from a place of absence, of not having. But when you create from the state of already being or having, your actions are imbued with a different energy altogether. They become effortless, joyful expressions of your inner state, rather than strained attempts to change your outer world. Let us take a moment to truly absorb the magnitude of what we are discussing here. We are talking about nothing less than your ability to completely reshape your life, to step into a new reality of your own choosing. This video has found you at this precise moment because you are ready for this transformation. The very fact that you are hearing these words is proof that you have called this knowledge into your life. But knowledge alone is not enough. It must be applied, must be lived to have any real power. So I challenge you right here and now to choose a desire, something you wish to be, do, or have. Close your eyes for a moment and step into the feeling of that desire fulfilled. Experience it with all your senses. Feel the emotions you would feel if it were already your reality. Now open your eyes. The world around you may look the same, but I assure you it is not. For in that moment of imaginative power, you have set in motion forces beyond your current comprehension. You have planted a seed in the fertile soil of infinite possibility, and that seed must grow. Your task now is to water that seed with your continued assumption of its reality. When doubts arise, and they will, gently return to that feeling of your desire fulfilled. When the outer world seems to contradict your inner knowing, stand firm in your conviction. For the outer is but a shadow, a reflection of past beliefs. Your new assumption, held with unwavering faith, will inevitably reshape that outer world. Remember, the universe is plastic to your deepest, most consistently held beliefs. It has no choice but to mold itself to your inner convictions. This is not something you need to force or struggle with. It is the natural, effortless operation of universal law. As you begin to live from this new understanding, you will notice changes in your life. They may be subtle at first, a shift in your mood, a new spring in your step, a sense of quiet confidence that wasn't there before. Embrace these changes, for they are the first fruits of your new way of being. Gradually, you will see larger shifts. Circumstances will align in ways you couldn't have planned. People will enter your life who resonate with your new frequency. Opportunities will present themselves that perfectly match your deepest desires. And through it all, you will know with unshakable certainty that you are the creator of it all. This, my dear friends, is the true meaning of living a life of power and purpose. It is not about controlling the outer world or bending others to your will. It is about mastering your inner world, about becoming so aligned with your deepest desires that the outer world naturally conforms to your inner vision. As we continue on this journey of exploration and revelation, I want you to understand that what we are discussing here is not some new age fantasy or feel-good philosophy. This is the very mechanism by which reality operates. It is the underlying principle that governs the unfolding of all existence. Think for a moment about the world around you. Every man-made object you see, the buildings, the vehicles, the devices in your hands, began as a thought, an imaginal act. Someone somewhere held in their mind a vision of these things before they came into physical being. Your ability to create is no different. The only distinction is in the medium. Instead of steel and concrete, you are molding the very substance of reality itself. Now, I can sense that some of you may be feeling overwhelmed by the magnitude of this power. You may be thinking, if I am responsible for creating my reality, then why have I created circumstances I don't desire? This is a natural and important question to ask. The answer lies in understanding the nature of your subconscious mind. Your subconscious does not distinguish between what you want and what you don't want. It simply accepts as true whatever you consistently impress upon it, whether through your habitual thoughts, your emotional states, or your deeply held beliefs. Many of us have spent years, even decades, impressing upon our subconscious mind's limitations, fears, and doubts. Is it any wonder, then, that our lives reflect these impressions? But here's the liberating truth. Just as you have impressed these limiting beliefs upon your subconscious, you can impress new, empowering beliefs. You can overwrite the old programming with a new vision of yourself and your life. This is the very essence of the transformation we are discussing. The technique is simple, but its consistent application requires dedication and persistence. Each night as you drift off to sleep, enter into a state akin to sleep but still conscious. In this drowsy, receptive state, imagine a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. Make it as vivid and as real as you possibly can. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the sense of accomplishment that would accompany the realization of your dream. As you fall asleep in this state, you are impressing this new reality upon your subconscious mind. You are planting the seed of your new life in the fertile soil of infinite possibility. Do this night after night, and you will begin to see changes in your outer world. Your subconscious mind, operating below the level of your conscious awareness, will begin to reshape your reality to match this new impression. But remember, this is not a one-time event. Just as you wouldn't plant a seed and then dig it up every day to check its progress, you must have faith in the unseen processes that are at work. Your only task is to persist in the assumption of the wish fulfilled, to live each day from the state of already being what you desire to be. Now let's address another question that may be arising in your minds. What about other people? Don't they have their own free will? How can my imagination influence them? This is a profound question, and it strikes at the heart of our understanding of reality. The truth is, what you perceive as other people are in your world playing the parts that you have assigned to them. This doesn't mean they don't have free will in their own realities, but in your experience, they will conform to your assumptions about them. If you consistently assume that people are kind and helpful, you will find your world filled with kind and helpful people. If you assume the opposite, that is what you will experience. This understanding places a great responsibility on your shoulders. For if everyone in your world is playing a part based on your assumptions, then it is up to you to cast them in the roles you wish them to play. See the best in others, assume the best of them, and they will rise to meet your expectations. But what of global events, you may ask? How can my imagination influence the larger world? Again, we must return to the fundamental truth. Your experience of the world is a reflection of your inner state. As you change your inner world, your perception and experience of the outer world will change. This doesn't mean you should ignore the challenges facing our world, but it does mean that the most powerful way to create positive change is to embody that change within yourself. Be the peace you wish to see in the world. Live from a state of abundance, and you will see abundance reflected back to you. As more and more individuals awaken to this truth and begin living from empowered states of being, we will see a collective shift in our shared reality. Now, I want to address something that many of you may be feeling at this point. You may be excited by these ideas, inspired by the possibilities they present, but you may also be feeling a sense of doubt. Can it really be this simple? You may be asking. If this is true, why isn't everyone doing it? The answer, my friends, is that while the principle is indeed simple, its application requires a fundamental shift in how we perceive ourselves and the world around us. It requires us to let go of many deeply ingrained beliefs and habits of thought. It asks us to take complete responsibility for our lives, to step into our power as creators. This can be a daunting prospect. Many people, when confronted with this truth, shrink back from it. They find comfort in the familiar, even if the familiar is not what they truly desire. But you, my dear listeners, are different. The very fact that this video has found you, that you are hearing these words, is proof that you are ready for this transformation. You are ready to step into your power as a conscious creator. You are ready to take control of your inner world, and by doing so, reshape your outer reality. This is why your life is about to change. This is why you find yourself at this pivotal moment, poised on the brink of a new way of being. But let me be clear, this is not about gaining power over others or manipulating the world to serve your ego. This is about aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe, about becoming a channel through which the infinite expresses itself. It's about living a life of purpose, of joy, of fulfillment, not just for yourself, but as an inspiration and a blessing to all those around you. As we near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with a challenge. For the next 30 days, commit yourself fully to this practice. Choose one desire, one change you wish to see in your life. Each night as you fall asleep, imagine it as vividly as you can. Feel it as real. Leave each day from the state of its fulfillment. Do this consistently, persistently, and with unwavering faith. Don't worry about the how or the when. Your only task is to live from the end, to be in imagination what you wish to be in reality. The universe will take care of the rest. At the end of those 30 days, reflect on your experience. Notice the changes, both subtle and profound, that have occurred in your life. Pay attention to the shifts in your perception, in your emotional state, in the way you interact with the world around you. This, my friends, is just the beginning. As you master this practice, as you become more and more aligned with your true creative power, you will find yourself capable of transforming not just your individual circumstances, but of contributing to the transformation of our collective reality. Remember, the world is waiting for you to awaken to your true power. It is longing for you to step into the fullness of who you truly are. For as you liberate yourself, as you begin to live from a place of joy, abundance, and love, you liberate those around you. You become a living example of what is possible, a beacon of hope and inspiration in a world that so desperately needs it. So go forth, my dear friends, with this newfound knowledge. Let it sink deep into your being. Let it inform every thought, every action, every moment of your day. Know that as you do so, you are setting in motion forces that will reshape your entire existence. Your life is about to change, not because of external circumstances, but because you are awakening to the immense power that has always resided within you. This video, these words have found you at precisely the right moment when you are ready to embrace this truth and step into your role as the conscious creator of your reality. As you move forward from this moment, carry with you the understanding that your imagination is the most powerful tool you possess. Use it wisely, use it consistently, and use it with love. Remember that what you imagine and feel to be real must, by universal law, become your reality. This is not wishful thinking, but the very mechanism by which all of creation operates. In the coming days and weeks, you will begin to notice changes in your life. They may be subtle at first, a shift in your mood, a new opportunity presenting itself, a fortuitous encounter. Embrace these changes, for they are the first fruits of your new way of being. They are confirmation that you are aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. But do not stop there. As you see these initial changes manifesting in your life, let them fuel your faith and strengthen your resolve. Continue to live from the state of your wish fulfilled, even when the outer world seems to contradict it. For remember, the outer is but a shadow of your past beliefs. Your new assumptions, held with unwavering faith, will inevitably reshape that outer world. Finally, my dear friends, know that this journey you are embarking upon is not just for your own benefit. As you transform your own life, you become a beacon of hope and inspiration for others. You demonstrate what is possible when one awakens to their true nature as a creative force in the universe. And in doing so, you contribute to the elevation of all humanity. So go forth with courage, with faith, and with the unshakable knowledge that the life of your dreams is not just possible, it is inevitable. For you are the operant power, the author of your destiny, the creator of your reality. Your life is about to change because you have chosen to change it. Embrace this power and watch in awe as the world transforms before your eyes. I wish to share with you tonight a profound truth that will transform your entire world if you dare to embrace it fully. The year 2025 stands before you as a clean slate, a pure potentiality waiting to be impressed by your consciousness. But I tell you this, do not look to the world outside for your fulfillment, for your power, for your success. The secret I wish to impress upon you tonight is this: you must focus entirely and completely on yourself, for you are the operant power. You are the source of all that appears in your world. Let me make this clear. When I speak of focusing on yourself, I am not speaking of the outer self that you present to the world. I am speaking of that deeper self, that divine imagination within you, which is God. Yes, I dare to make this bold statement. Your own wonderful human imagination is God Himself operating in the very depths of your being. And in this year that lies before you, your task is to turn within and claim this truth with unwavering conviction. Many of you sitting here tonight are looking to the world of Caesar for your answers. You scan the headlines, you watch the markets, you analyze trends and patterns in the outer world. But I tell you, this is to put the cart before the horse. The outer world, every single aspect of it, is nothing more than a shadow, a reflection of your own consciousness. It cannot give you what you seek, for it has no power to create. The creative power lies within you. And only by focusing on this inner reality can you truly transform your life. Let me share with you a principle that has never failed. Your consciousness, your inner awareness of being, is the only reality. All phenomena are simply projections of this inner state. When you truly grasp this, you will understand why focusing on yourself, your inner self, is not selfish, but rather the highest calling. For in focusing on your consciousness, in cultivating your inner state, you are working with the very substance of creation. Consider this. Every time you say, I am, you are making a declaration at the very root of existence. You are defining your state of consciousness and therefore determining what will appear in your world. So I ask you, what are you declaring in the depths of your being? Are you saying, I am limited, I am worried about the future, I am dependent on outer circumstances? Or are you boldly claiming, I am successful, I am fulfilled, I am the creator of my destiny? In this year 2025, I urge you to make this your constant practice. Watch your inner conversation. Listen to what you are telling yourself in the silence of your own mind. For this inner conversation is your prayer, and it is being answered every moment of every day. The world must conform to your inner talk, for that is law. Now, let me explain why focusing on yourself is not what the world thinks it is. When I tell you to focus on yourself, I am telling you to focus on the God within you, for that is your true self. The Bible tells us the kingdom of God is within you. This is not a metaphor, my dear friends. It is the most literal and practical truth you will ever encounter. The kingdom, all power, all wisdom, all possibility is within your own consciousness. You see, the great error of humanity is in looking for power outside themselves. They think success, achievement, fulfillment must come from external sources. But I tell you with absolute certainty, everything you seek is already within you, waiting to be recognized and claimed. When you focus on yourself in this deep spiritual sense, you are focusing on the very source of all creation. Let me give you a technique to practice this truth. Tonight, when you retire to your bed, I want you to enter into a state akin to sleep, but remaining conscious. In this drowsy state, begin to feel yourself to be the person you wish to be. Do not think about becoming this person. Feel that you are already this person. For imagination creates reality, and feeling is the secret. You must persist in this feeling until it takes on the tone of reality. You must continue until you find yourself responding automatically to the world as this person would respond. This is what it means to truly focus on yourself, to consciously shape your inner state until it becomes your natural state of being. Now, some of you may be thinking about goals and resolutions for 2025. But I tell you, do not focus on the goals themselves. Focus instead on the state of consciousness of having already achieved these goals. You must feel the naturalness of being the person who has these things, these achievements, these states of being. For whatever you are conscious of being, you will become. Remember the words of Scripture, be still and know that I am God. This is not asking you to be physically still, though that can help. It is asking you to still your mind from its constant looking to the outer world, and instead really know that the I am within you is God. This is the highest form of focusing on yourself. As you move through 2025, I want you to maintain this practice religiously. When you wake in the morning, before you engage with the outer world, take a moment to establish your inner state. Feel yourself to be what you wish to be. Carry this feeling throughout your day. When challenges arise, and they will, for that is the nature of the world of Caesar, return to this inner knowing. Let me tell you why this is so crucial in this particular time. The world is constantly presenting images of limitation, of struggle, of competition. But these are only shadows, only reflections of collective consciousness. You have the power and the right to rise above these limitations by focusing on your own consciousness, your own divine imagination. You see, when you truly understand what I am telling you tonight, you will realize that focusing on yourself is the greatest service you can offer to the world. For as you elevate your consciousness, as you establish and maintain higher states of being, you automatically lift all those around you. This is because we are all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. Think of it this way. When you enter a room, having firmly established a state of joy, of success, of fulfillment within yourself, everyone in that room is touched by your state, not because you are trying to influence them, but because consciousness is the only reality. And you are awakening higher states of consciousness simply by being. This is why I tell you, make this year 2025 the year you truly dedicate yourself to focusing on your inner state. Let go of the habit of looking to others for approval, for validation, for direction. The only approval you need is from your own wonderful human imagination, for that is God Himself operating in you. You must guard your mental diet with the same care that you guard your physical diet. Every thought you entertain, every inner conversation you engage in, every feeling you cultivate is forming the consciousness from which your entire world springs. This is why focusing on yourself, your thoughts, your feelings, your inner conversations is not selfish but sacred. Let me share with you a profound truth that few understand. The Bible tells us, let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. This mind is the consciousness of already being what you desire to be. It is the absolute conviction that what you are imagining is already real, already accomplished. This is the mind you must cultivate in 2025. When you focus on yourself in this way, you are actually focusing on the creative power of the universe. For that power is your own wonderful human imagination. Every time you imagine, you are literally engaging with God. For imagination is God in action within the human mind. Now, many of you may be wondering about specific techniques to maintain this focus throughout the year. I will give you one that has never failed. Before you sleep each night, construct a simple scene that would imply your desire is already fulfilled. Make it a short scene, easily repeated. And most importantly, one that gives you the feeling of fulfillment. Enter into this scene as though it were happening now. Do not think of it as something to achieve. Know it as something that is already yours. Feel the naturalness of it. Repeat this scene over and over until it takes on the tones of reality. Then sleep in this consciousness. This is using your imagination lovingly on behalf of yourself. And this is the highest form of focusing on yourself. Remember, the outer world will constantly try to distract you from this practice. It will present you with so-called facts that seem to contradict your inner knowing. But I tell you this, facts are merely the fruit of past states of consciousness. They have no power to create, no power to sustain themselves unless you give them that power through your attention. This is why in 2025, you must be vigilant in maintaining your focus on your inner state. When the outer world presents its evidence, remember, it is only showing you a shadow of past consciousness. Your task is to maintain the consciousness of your wish fulfilled regardless of appearances. Let me tell you something that might shock you. Time does not exist in your imagination. When you imagine something, you are actually experiencing it now. This is why focusing on yourself, on your imaginative acts, is so powerful. You are literally experiencing your desire fulfilled in the only place it can be experienced, in your consciousness. This year, make it your practice to live more and more in your imagination. Not in idle fantasy, but in the firm conviction that your imaginal acts are real acts. They are the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen in the outer world. This is what it means to focus on yourself, to focus on your power to imagine, and to know that this power is God Himself in action. You see, the outer world is dead. It has no power to create, no power to sustain itself. It is purely an effect, never a cause. When you focus on yourself, on your consciousness, your imagination, you are focusing on the only creative power in existence. This is why results are guaranteed when you maintain the right state of consciousness. Let me give you another practice for 2025. Throughout your day, pause occasionally and ask yourself, what am I conscious of being right now? This simple practice will help you maintain your focus on your inner state, which is the only reality. If you find yourself conscious of limitation, consciously shift to the consciousness of abundance. If you find yourself conscious of lack, shift to the consciousness of fulfillment. Remember, you are not trying to change conditions. You are changing states of consciousness, and the conditions must follow. This is the law by which your world operates. It is immutable, unchangeable. Whatever you are conscious of being, you must become. This is why focusing on yourself, on your state of consciousness, is the most practical thing you can do. You are literally selecting the state from which your entire world will spring. Now, some of you might be thinking that this sounds too simple, but I tell you it is simple, but it requires persistence. You must persist in maintaining the state of consciousness you desire until it becomes your natural state. This is the art of focusing on yourself that I am sharing with you tonight. Think of it this way: every moment of your day, you are either consciously choosing your state, or you are unconsciously accepting a state based on outer circumstances. In 2025, make it your practice to consciously choose your state. This is true focus on self. Remember, the state you choose must feel natural to you. This is why feeling is the secret. You must feel the naturalness of being the person you wish to be. This feeling creates the reality. The outer world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match your inner feeling, your inner conviction. As you move through this year, you will face moments of doubt. The outer world will present evidence that seems to contradict your chosen state. In these moments, remember, the outer is only a shadow. Your task is to remain faithful to your chosen state, regardless of appearances. This is what it means to focus on yourself, to maintain your chosen state despite all outer evidence to the contrary. For your state of consciousness is the only reality, and all outer circumstances must conform to it. This is law. Let me give you one more practice for 2025. Each morning, before you begin your day, take a moment to feel the joy of being the person you wish to be. Feel the naturalness of having what you desire. Feel the satisfaction of being who you truly wish to be. Then carry this feeling with you throughout your day. You see, this feeling is your prayer, and this prayer is always answered. The outer world has no choice but to reflect back to you what you are consciously being and feeling. This is why focusing on yourself, on your feeling state, is the most powerful thing you can do. In closing, I want to impress upon you this fundamental truth. You are the operant power in your world. Not your outer self, but your consciousness, your imagination, your I am. When you focus on this truth, when you live from this understanding, your entire world must transform to reflect your state of consciousness. Make 2025 the year you truly grasp and apply this truth. Focus on yourself, not the outer self, but the divine imagination within you. For this imagination is God Himself operating in you, and it is the only creative power in existence. Remember, the world is just pushed out. Everything you see, everything you experience is simply your consciousness made visible. Therefore, focus on yourself, your consciousness, your imagination, your feeling state, and watch as your world transforms to match your inner state. This is the law, and it cannot fail. For consciousness is the only reality, and what you are conscious of being, you must become. This is the promise I leave with you tonight. Take it, test it, prove it in your own experience. For the truth of what I tell you can only be proven experience. Go forth into 2025 with this understanding. Focus on yourself, your divine imagination, and watch as miracles unfold in your world. For you are the miracle worker. You are the creative power. You are God in action. This is the truth that sets you free. And now, having planted this seed in your consciousness, I know it must bear fruit. For that is law. Your world must reflect what you are conscious of being. Therefore, be conscious of being who you wish to be, and watch as your world transforms to reflect this new state of consciousness. Remember, the kingdom of God is within you. All power is within you. All possibility exists within your own wonderful human imagination. Focus on this truth in 2025. Live from this understanding and watch as your world transforms before your very eyes. For this is the promise, whatsoever you are conscious of being, you will become. This is the law, and it cannot fail. Go forth now in this understanding and prove this truth in your own wonderful experience. For experience is the only true teacher, and your own wonderful imagination is God Himself in action. Turn your complete attention inward throughout 2025, for your consciousness is the only creative power in your world. Every circumstance, every experience, every achievement springs from your inner state. Your task is not to battle circumstances, but to maintain the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. Live from the end, feeling the naturalness of being who you wish to be. And your outer world must conform to match this inner conviction. The year 2025 awaits not as a challenge to overcome, but as a pure reflection of your state of consciousness. Remember, you are not trying to change things, you are choosing states of being from which your desired reality will naturally unfold. Your own wonderful human imagination is the God power within you, and focusing on this truth is your sacred task for the year ahead. Test this law, prove it in your own experience, and watch as your world transforms to match your inner state. Make this your year of focusing on yourself, your true self, your divine imagination, and watch as miracles unfold in your world. For you are the miracle worker. You are the creative power. You are God in action. This is the truth that sets you free. And this is the truth I leave with you tonight.